Ladies and gentlemen, your hosts, Lorelei and Space Deviant.
I was watching The Critical Drinker, and he compared Avatar to fast food. It's a great essay, per usual. There was a line that the Avatar's franchise world is culturally inert. I mean, of course he's right. But the question that gnawed at me was why?
You got some hard kids showing up in this neighborhood.
Now, I've always referred to Avatar since the original as Dances with Wolves in Space, and I stand with that analogy. But Dances with Wolves was an incredible movie. Why didn't any of that seem to rub off on Avatar?
Stay with the ship. One idiot with a gun is enough.
Because Dances with Wolves merely asks us to see the beauty in a different, inherently doomed culture. But Avatar wants us to believe that dragon-riding cavemen could defeat a mechanized space-age people. Kevin Costner's Dunbar does go native, but he ends up married to a woman of his own people.
My place is with you. I go where you go.
Fleeing west to start a new life, sacrificing his new bond to these people in order to keep them safe, knowing that if the army finds him with them, they'll all be killed. But Sam Worthington's Jake Sully is entirely subsumed by a foreign culture. He takes a high-ranking wife, a chief's daughter.
You
mated with this woman?
Oh, shit.
Unlike a captured slave like Dunbar, and he's never asked to make any kind of sacrifice. He gains a functional body.
Stuff, okay? There's a few more sensory motor reflex tests we need to run, so take it easy.
Wait.
Sit down.
Rides increasingly cool dragons, and then conquers and temporarily expels the enemy.
The time of great sorrow was ending.
This enemy which are his own kinsmen, his fellow soldiers, his native blood compatriots.
Back on Earth, these guys were army dogs, Marines, fighting for freedom.
Aside from a few scientifically or culturally compelled.
That's where the story is strangled in the cradle. You will never convince Westerners, people who love Middle-earth, to cheer for Saruman marrying a hot blue orc while riding Smaug around a sparkly Mordor.
We call these trees Utraya Mokri, the tree of voices.
The trees are strong, my lord.
Avatar is the story of Benedict Arnold. It is the story of John Riley. It's the story of Guy Fawkes. Avatar is the story of a successful, exalted traitor, which is why it has no cultural impact.
The Avatar program is a bad joke.
Dances with Wolves, you get to see the brutality of tribal life. It juxtaposes the bravery and the beauty and the brotherhood of warriors with that darkness. But Avatar's blue men are never shown to be authentic tribespeople.
If you want to share this world with them, you need to understand them.
There's no generational blood feuds, no constant warfare between geographically adjacent groups.
Look, I know you probably don't understand this, but
These people are cardboard cutouts.
Even though warriors are central to their culture, you could tell they used to be. They don't really go into it much.
The movie is trying to teach us that a foreign, tree-worshipping alien species is superior to us, could defeat us in battle, and that's a good thing?
What the hell have you people been smoking out there?
Oh, whether the writers like it or not, the true hero of Avatar is Colonel Miles Quaritch.
As head of security, it is my job to keep you alive.
A brave soldier, villainized for upholding the vows he made to his country.
This low gravity will make you soft. You get soft.
Pandora will shit you out dead with zero warning.
Persecuted for trying to maintain law and order in a brutal land of savages.
Now those savages are threatening our whole operation. We're on the brink of war, and you're supposed to be finding a diplomatic solution.
A land where everything, even the very air he breathes, is trying to kill him.
You are not in Kansas anymore. You are on Pandora, ladies and gentlemen. Respect that fact.
In the midst of all that indomitable chaos, he is forced to try to bring justice to a traitor. One of his own men, a crayon-chewing nitwit gone native over some local gal.
You find yourself some local tale, and you just completely forget what team you're playing for?
With the core story of Avatar, you could have gone either Pocahontas and the First Thanksgiving, or Last of the Mohicans. But you can't sell me on the Battle of Agincourt with Blue Englishmen. This is not Master and Commander in Space.
This is a ship of war, and I will grind whatever grist the mill requires in order to fulfill my duty.
Whatever the cost.
Whatever the cost.
As if these were two technological equals and only culturally different. If you're trying to turn Avatar into Leonidas and the Spartans at Thermopylae, Jake Sully is Ephialtes.
They can fix a spinal if you got the money.
Everything you could ever desire.
And it doesn't matter how pretty the movie is, how fancy the effects are, how A-list the stars are. You can't trick people into rooting for the Judas of the story.
The aliens went back to their dying world. Only a few were chosen to stay.
You there?
Jake Sully.
May you live forever.
So, I have to say, I disagree with you.
Oh, I know. I'm so excited.
On most points. So we'll start with where you think that's the reason why it's not a cultural impact. Overall, I disagree. Because I think what's more important is what's the actual story about. So it's about the culture. It's about they destroyed their planet. They destroyed Earth, essentially. And they're looking for a new home planet and more resources. So it's a story about humans destroying the planet. So we're the Mordor. Okay, we are the destroyers.
That's what they want. Yeah, no, that's the story that what's his name was very much trying to tell.
It's not culturally an acceptable thing. It didn't really have any say on culture because it's not allowed to because of
no, it doesn't
our
hit.
industrial American and yes, that's a large part of it.
That was pushed on us so hard. They wanted there to be Jake Sully dolls. They wanted there to be blue people dolls. No, I'm saying it was pumped.
Yeah.
There was lots of propaganda.
Oh, yeah.
No one ate it because the story didn't slap.
Look, you're supposed to be winning the hearts and the minds of the natives. Isn't that the whole point?
But also, we have there are some elements that are similar, where the two, obviously can compare, but, one is rooted in fact. One is rooted in reality with John Dunbar.
Oh, Dances with Wolves.
Yeah, Dances with Wolves is clearly, but it's still rooted in some element of reality, whereas the other one's all CGI and it's a fantasy.
I will take Dances with Wolves apart in another episode, turning an absolutely ferocious native people into prairie hippies.
Bear. No, not Dumb Bear.
That's another episode. For this one, because it did have... The thing is, Dances with Wolves, you could put Dances with Wolves on right now. It still stands the test of time. Avatar bores me. The first Avatar bores me. I was bored after the first time I watched it. And it took It took watching the drinker's essay shift in my brain of why. It's because he's Judas.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying
You're
that
trying
it
to
didn't
turn
have
our
a cultural
culture
impact.
into evil.
But
you're trying to make us evil, making us Mordor, and that's never going to hit for people.
A new power is rising. Its victory is at hand.
And when we destroy it, we will blast a crater in their racial memory so deep that they won't come within 1,000 clicks of this place ever again.
The Colonel is not a good guy in any way. I mean, clearly he's a dictator. These dumb
bastards ain't getting the message. All right, let's turn up the heat. Switch incendiaries. Fire.
Clearly a totalitarian dictator, and he's just licking the boot of the CEO and corporate dogs.
Killing the indigenous looks bad. But there's one thing that shareholders hate more than bad press, and that's a bad quarterly statement.
He's trying to keep his people safe in the land of savages. Land of absolute
And they're all
savages.
They're fond of arrows dipped in a neurotoxin that'll stop your heart in 1 minute.
Profit. So
10-foot tall maniacs. They can breathe this horrible air.
Lose that mask, you're unconscious in 20 seconds. You're dead in 4 minutes.
He's doing the best he can to try to lay down
all they care about
marine
is
law.
maximizing their profits. So,
kind of making my point because they made the bad guys.
you're
Now
missing the point.
I'm taking the piss with Quaritch. I'm trolling a bit, but in all seriousness, you made the villains so paper thin.
Their damn village happens to be resting on the richest unobtainium deposit within 200 clicks in any direction.
There was no depth. Even the Weasley head guy, he was so easy to hate. There was nothing about him where I was like, I wanted him. He didn't have a wife I liked. He didn't have a kid I liked. There was nothing redeeming about him. He was so easy to hate. I didn't root for him at all. If you wanted to write me the story of settlers, they did mess up the planet. Let's say our great-grandparents messed up the planet, or great-great-grandparents. We've survived this long and we're in space now. We need a new place to settle. I don't believe in blood guilt. I know some peoples believe in blood guilt, but I don't. So you could write me a story about settlers who want to get on this planet and set up, and they've got to deal with these blue species, and there's some overlap issues.
Kokum, stop!
Both eyes open.
I think a lot of it's irrelevant because we live in a corporate democracy, a corporate republic, hardly a democracy. So a lot of those elements, they don't have any bearing because it's not something that's really, while it's wanted by some people in society, there's a large swath of society that aren't going to back this.
You understand that this current cycle we live in the grand cycle of the world, is a temporary aberration that cannot possibly last.
We're at peak industrial.
Yeah, they said that in Rome at 200 AD too, and that it would never end.
No, I'm not saying that it would never end. It's already coming to the peak of capitalism right now. We're getting near the peak of maximum that it can withstand.
I don't want to necessarily get into the weeds here. My point is, you're not going to change how storytelling works for cavemen. We've been telling hero stories since we were sitting around a fire and beating snakes with sticks. We're never going to worship the traitor Judas.
All I'm saying
we're
is
never
that
going to worship the guy that sells out his tribe to a foreign tribe because they're theoretically more moral in some way. That's why the story don't slap.
It's not going to slap because it was just a fictitious. It was
all stories are fictitious.
It was all CGI, and there was no reality base to it either. But why it didn't have any real cultural impact? Why doesn't a lot of stuff? It's for the same reasons. If it's not culturally acceptable.
They wanted it to. And there's lots of stuff that has a huge cultural impact that they don't like.
With Native Americans, yeah, it has a huge cultural impact because, well, there's a reality to it. And that's something that a lot of people would like to care about. Turn a blind eye to what the rest of the core of that story is about because
all real Native American stories, again, this is, if you're going to tell a real one, you got to tell the ugly parts too. There were no saint natives. There was not one single tribe of saints that existed in this hallowed land before our people got here on the Mayflower. Before Richard Warren rolled up.
I'm arguing that. All I'm saying is cultural impact.
No, but my point is, that's why those stories, you could tell me a story about Ojibwe, you could tell me a story about Cherokee, and I'll care. I'll care. I might even root for the little shit that runs off and joins the Indian and gets himself a girl.
You look tired, little big man. Do you want to come into my teepee and rest on soft furs? Why don't you live with me and I'll be your wife?
You can write me a story where I care about. What I'm saying is, these blue Indians are perfect.
So you're still missing the point, because it's all about perspective. It's all about cultural perspective. So you're saying the one person's this, that. One person's Fox and the other person's a traitor. Okay, so Fox is a traitor, okay, to the English and the elites and people at that time who were looking at it from that perspective. It's all about perspective. If you have your culture is looking at these characters from the industrial corporate perspective, they are not going to respect, admire, or adhere to those beliefs because they're coming from the corporate industrial Republican perspective.
Or what? Ranger Rick, you gonna shoot me?
I can do that.
But it's also Jake betraying his own people. Now
I'm just saying that's why
you try to make his people nothing but
I'm not disagreeing
corporate
with
nothing
you.
sauce.
I'm not disagreeing that, he was being a traitor to them in that regards. But I think that's largely irrelevant. I think the reason why it didn't have any cultural impact or a large cultural impact was one, it's complete fantasy. It's not like there's elements of truth to it.
No, I'm going to disagree with you. You could take, I don't like too much CGI. I hate it, frankly. But you could have taken that same Fern Gully level of story, and if you had told me a Thanksgiving story, a Pocahontas tale.
Zach, truth doesn't always win friends, but it certainly influences people.
People don't like to talk about or think about us doing negative things to our world. There's both the psychological push away from that, because people don't like to think about,
You want to do that, though, you can't make it pretty. You want to tell Blade Runner it's got to be noir and dark.
Right.
So do you want Blue Alien Space Runner? Cool, dude, do it. But it can't be Fern Gully.
That's what it is to be a slave.
I'm just saying why it didn't have a huge cultural impact.
It's
because people have to be able to, they have to find some relation to it.
Yes.
And they don't find a relation to it because
they're not going to relate
they're
to the
not
blue
supposed
aliens.
to. Within our culture, you're not supposed
James Cameron
to.
wrote a whites are bad story.
These white men are dangerous. No one is to go near them.
Well, he was writing
Aren't you ashamed to be
the
white?
far more liberal side is what it was.
Well,
okay.
Because it's not a real story that anyone can sink their teeth into. It's not a genuine story. See, that's why I'm coming down on him so hard. Is for some dude who's so obsessed with this tale, he didn't write me a real story. He didn't write real people. The blue Navi or whatever aren't real. None of them are real. They are
That's what I've just been saying.
Garbage cutout.
That's what I've been saying. They're not real. There's no reality to it. There's no relation.
Well, I mean, you're trying to pose the question is because it's coming from the point of view that
it's both.
The whites are bad.
No, it's both.
Because they're corporatists.
There's more than one
That's why no
thing.
one can identify with it. And
not
I'm saying
everything
no
is,
one can identify
not
with
everything
it because
is simple and cardboard. Sometimes it's
it's
a multifaceted. There's multiple reasons why. The blue people were Mordor flying around.
You could easily turn this movie. I could easily take this story. Easily. And give you Sauron Blue Mordor. It is a hair off. But that's the thing. It's because the Na'vi aren't real. There's nothing to them. They're ether.
That's what I'm saying. That's the other part of what I'm saying. There's both reasons.
It's why it's like not fun to watch them.
And it's largely culturally unacceptable. And you're coming at it from their Western imperial ideology. So, you know, if you're coming at
I'm coming at it from
as
the
an
Western
imperialist, like you're supposed to dominate the world,
Western Christian
then yeah,
philosophy.
they would be the bad guys. But if you're coming at it from, oh, this is their world.
Those Navis can be Catholic.
If this is their world
Catholic
and their resources.
That man can also move himself. And only then does that man truly begin his own game. Remember that howsoever you are played, or by whom, your soul is in your keeping alone. Even though those who presume to play you be kings or men of power, when you stand before God, you cannot say, "But I was told by others to do thus," or that virtue was not convenient at the time. This will not suffice.
We can get a priest out there in a face mask for him, but there was never any actual mixing of cultures.
So I'll come at it from the other perspective. So an example of what had a huge cultural impact, but was still mostly fantasy or generally fantasy, was Lord of the Rings. Huge cultural impact. Massive.
But the story is classic.
Oh, and it's a great story.
Western story. It's good versus evil. But no one's fake.
And it had depth. Everything had depth. I mean, he built an entire universe before
Was Aragorn perfect?
Before he even wrote The Hobbit, he basically built an entire universe.
Okay, let's not.
But that's part of it. That is part of it.
Cameron has obsessed on this. He's obsessed as much as he can. Is he a Tolkien? No. Come on. But that bar is so high. He did Titanic. Let's not shit on him. James Cameron's still impressive. Titanic's an entirely immoral tale when we think about it now.
Yeah, it has, but that has nothing. We're talking about cultural impact. You're changing the subject. You're straw manning to something that has nothing to do with it. We're in cultural impact. Why? So why did this have cultural impact? Well, there's some elements of truth but mostly that was the old Western. That was European culture, and this was building upon our European Western culture. Tolkien. These
Which
are mostly
all stories should.
Right.
Any story that's going to work builds on the basis of Western cultural stories.
So that's why, because this is not, Avatar is not a Western or European tale.
What I'm arguing is, I can take all these bullshit. I'm arguing that is bullshit. I can take the Na'vi story. I can take the Avatar homeworld. I can take Quaritch. I can take Sully. I can take even the douchebag corporatocracy. You give me a few pilgrims that aren't despicable, some women and children that need a good life, and a Western story that'll hit in that same world, not changing any of the technology, not even taking down the CGI garbage. I can take that. The problem is his story. The fundamental story is corruption. It's Judas succeeds. It's Guy Fawkes succeeds.
It's time to come in. By the way, you're gonna get your legs back. Yeah, I got your corporate approval. It's a done deal. Gonna have you on a shuttle tonight. I'm a man of my word.
I gotta finish this. There's one more thing. Ceremony. It's the final stage of becoming a man.
I would say I think your perspective on it, you're only coming from it from the far. I don't think it was that bad of a story. I think there was a huge cultural impact on it. I thought it was all right story. The first movie, the second movie was terrible, but first one I thought was pretty good.
No,
but it's not a Western.
It's not a
tale.
Good story.
It's not a tale about conquering. It's not about imperialism. It's not it's against imperialism.
Just the idea that a bunch of blue cavemen on dragons could defeat the kind of people that have traversed a galaxy, that are a space-age people. And you're telling me tree-worshipping, blue bee-tailed hippies are going to bring them down, are going to expel them even temporarily?
This is Papa Dragon. I want this mission high and tight. I want to be home for dinner.
Are you kidding me? I'm telling you right now, with our death Doritos, we could turn that planet into asphalt. And you think it's just silly.
Oh, I know.
It's silly.
Yeah, that's the part where it's ridiculous.
You want to do this tale, and it's a lone ship, just one ship, not a fully loaded planet where they got an operation back. Planet was dead. You've got 500 scumbags that really are corrupt, that are run by some pirate lord or something. And I really can't hate them. And then the blue people can take them down, and maybe they're like really gross in some way, and they're keeping their own people as slaves. And
close your eyes and think of Brooklyn.
It can be terrible, and the blue Na'vi can rescue some of the humans and bring them in and give them bodies. Okay. Cool. They can be defeated.
Well, I think
but it's silly.
His thinking of them having that connection to the planet and stuff like that should have had a larger, impact, or having
Why don't you pray about it?
Been able to connect to the planet, and the planet having like one mind being joined together, mother planet. So I said, I think a lot of that he expected to have more.
Turn that one planet into one parking lot. Come on. What we got now. You think traveling through space, getting that unobtainium. We didn't fix that from, I could see early drafts, but we didn't come up with something better than unobtainium. That just got through all the drafts.
A real thing,
H3. So he goes on from riding one cool dragon to riding the Mac Daddy McDarkness dragon that no one ever, he never fails. I don't like Jake Sully. I don't want to root for him. He's just on a roll. Everything just flops in his lap. First he gets legs, and then he gets blue tail, literally, and then he gets a dragon, then he gets a cooler dragon.
No, I agree. Yeah, there were problems with the story. And that was also part of it. Is you never really grew with the characters.
James Cameron loves his babies. It's the same thing with his boring brunette female writers.
Yeah, I'm not going to disagree with that.
Whenever you're self-inserting and you're not willing to look at your own flaws or punch yourself in the dick. I mean, I hate to be so crass, but you can't self-insert unless you hate yourself a little bit. You can't self-insert a character and then not torture them.
Am I wrong?
Well, he had like the one failure where he got like rejected from the tribe or whatever, but that was it. That was it. As far as I can recall.
You mean the practice round?
Yeah, pretty much. Where he comes back with the dragon and takes back.
That's not failure.
No.
That's literally a hiccup. That's trying. No, that's not failure. Okay, that's not. It's not. It's not. And there's no one we want to save from the humans. There's no one we really care about. There's no femininity. There's no femininity in the humans. There's no femininity really among the Na'vi. Do you remember anything about Na'vi motherhood? Do you remember anything about Na'vi mating customs or anything, their jewelry, anything that's specifically female about the Na'vi at all? Do you have one single memory? And I know you've watched that movie.
They're not. They all use the same. It's all the same. Like asexual.
She was just as aggressive as any man, hissing at him, using her bow and arrow. And in the second movie, she's big pregnant.
You should stay back.
All right. Come.
She's big as a house pregnant, and yet she's going to battle.
Yeah.
Yeah,
there were a lot of problems.
Stupid.
It could have been way better, for sure.
No, it's no self-control. It's no realism. It's worse than not killing your darling. It's worse than not being able to kill your darlings. It's not being able to put your self-insert through any kind of torture, trials, not letting them fail, and also not acknowledging the flaws they have. Jake Sully's Ray.
Yeah. Now, if we want a reason that it didn't have cultural impact because they didn't build their characters well, yeah, I'll agree with that.
That's my whole point.
It was all hollow initially, but yes, that wasn't mainly what you were saying for your start off there. But
well, I'm going to come for them.
Okay. Well, That's different.
Yeah, no, out of a principle,
agree on
because
that.
you built nonsense.
But that's a part of they didn't really build any.
It's not a real character.
Characters, a real world for people to relate to.
No, it's like he was so entranced by the idea of making his flowers do little spirally sparkles.
If I remember correctly, they didn't even really show what Earth looked like or Earth in general. It was just like,
if they did, I don't remember.
A passing, like, yeah, we pretty much used up all our resources on Earth, and
they don't talk about it. And they're just trying to make us feel like I'm not going to feel bad for my own kinsmen on Earth. This idea that, oh, well, you used up their planet, eat shit and die.
Then move on to the next one.
Just the idea that I'm not going to want Earth to move on. Of course I'm going to want Earth to move on to the next one. I want Earth to inhabit fucking millions of planets. Are you kidding me? I want the American accent to just spiral around the galaxy. And Catholicism. Catholicism and hot dogs.
You just want to have Space Marines marching around with carrying crosses. And
do you think that's a bad idea? I like the way that sounds.
You know, we've had more deaths from that than, you know.
Bullshit. No, we haven't. But you haven't convinced me that Catholic Space Marines would be a bad thing.
In the name of fluffy imaginary beings.
It's so much worse with these blue betailed aliens. Because if you had given me, see, I'll even take it. If you had given me Dark Space Marines story versus the blue aliens, super crazy cultists. Not that I liked it.
All they had to do, one little thing. Instead of making humans the bad guy, if they would have had a third race who had come in when humans were there, even if we were trying to extract resources, and they're fighting us on it. So you have the third race comes in, and humans have to help save them because we had the technology.
They've stolen one of our fastest ships with enough fuel to cross the galaxy 10 times over.
And then they come into a trade agreement or something, they give some resources. I'm saying they could have made it into a better story that people would have liked. It would have had more cultural impact. It would have more people would have liked it.
You had me for a minute.
You get what I'm saying? Like
no,
you have a third, you have another race.
I was saying another race comes in and attacks Earth, and that's why we have to leave. Like we managed to kill him and destroy him, but the planet got screwed up in the battle.
People like.
And that's fine.
Helping
but like,
other people.
Are you talking about the Na'vi? We helped the Na'vi, and now
I know that's kind of a Christian idea of wanting to help others, but I'm saying
why would Earth be ruined in this scenario?
That has nothing to do with Earth being ruined. I'm saying
then why do we have to go to the Na'vi
because
and take their
I'm
shit?
saying they're already doesn't matter. Doesn't matter even if Earth was or wasn't. Even if Earth wasn't ruined, let's just say they had a rare resource that we don't have much of on Earth.
But that's
like the helium-3. Say even if it's not ruined, the planet's not completely used up.
Then we trade them something they need. All we have to do is identify what Na'vi AIDS is, cure it, and then trade it to them for unobtainium. I've got your new story.
What I'm saying is when you made humans as a race the main bad guy too, there's an imperial humanistic core with
you mean
people.
Tribal core?
There's a tribal
caveman?
Humanistic. Yes, humanism. You're going to have to fight that tribalism.
No, I'm not
fighting.
That's why I'm not fighting tribalism.
That's why a lot of people didn't like it.
It's exactly. It's because it's not a human story. But it's the core values. It's the fact that some Marine ran off with some local native girl tale. And again, not just a low-ranking girl or some girl from a tribe where she was a slave in this culture and was being abused and he rescued her, where got a low-ranking wife and they go, no.
He's got a date with the chief's daughter.
She's the chief's daughter. Ooh-wee. I'm getting a fancy pants wife. And then he not only dragon ride, I don't know about all that tail action. I don't like that. I'm gonna say it. With the hair and the tail, and that's the same bits for all the bits. I don't like it.
Yeah, it was pretty weird.
You nasty. Just saying it. It's part of why I could never get into it, because it's nasty. You're using it on horses, and you know what? I don't want to.
Oh man, that is just wrong.
America, built to last. That's right. No, that's right. They'll be flying that flag all night. Red, white, and blue.
Thank you for joining us today. We really do appreciate your time. I'm Lorelei, and this is
Space Deviant.
And together, we are Southern Fried
Cinema
Cinema
Siblings.
And remember, the most important story is the story you tell yourself, so
Make it a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. You're still here, are you? Well, why don't you make yourself useful? Click the share button. Click the subscribe button. May as well go ahead and click for the next episode, too.